Welcome back to our weekly podcast. The dancers are in the building, and we are going over episode 8 of Online Survival Season 2. I guess this week, well, I would have to do the ups and downs, of course. That guy will go ahead and start with you. Who went up this week and why?
Um, I got to say that I think Q went up, and as far as down's got to be. Despite how it went, I still think it's down for Jake.
And your reasons?
Yeah, so up for Q because she won what I think could be the most crucial immunity of them all. I think she needed it this week. I didn't even realize it until watching the episode. Like, I didn't feel this way last week, but watching the episode as it unfolded, I was like, holy crap, more people are targeting Q. Like, I thought she was going to, kind of go back to flying under the radar. Everybody was still kind of had eyes on her. So she really did need this one. And I think she won it. And now, because of the way the vote went on Patty, there's going to be a lot of fluctuations around. And now I think she's going to be able to settle back down and take the big crosshair off of her, at least to some degree. So I think she's definitely going up. I could have said Jake and Hassan. I feel like the remainder of the cleaners minus Dot are on the downswing. I feel like there's just so much distrust with everyone else. Team Dunn seems to be swinging where the wind blows. And if that trend continues, they're swinging back over to the Rona side and picking off a cleaner this week.
Days, who went up, who went down?
Let me start with who went down, and that is Dee and Q. And I think they went down because they were left out of the voting block, which was Dot, Alex, Elizabeth, Jake, and Hassan. I don't think that bodes well for the next round. I would think that Q has to win the next challenge in order to not get voted out. And if she does win immunity, there's a potential for Dee to go in her place. Who do I think went up? I'm going to say Alex. I think he's playing a really good game. I think there are possible targets on him, but he needs to play it smooth going forward. I have a feeling he's fixing to get caught in a lie if people start comparing notes. But right now I have him up. He's got to stay low.
Aspen, who went up, who went down?
So, all hail Queen Q. All hail Queen Q. Q has went up in my book this week. Honestly, I'm going to just go ahead on and say I'm Team Q for the win. I think Q going to take it. I was just so impressed. I mean, like, winning the challenge. I mean, killed that shit. Round of applause for how great she did in the challenge. Yeah, I just think she just was on point with everything she wanted to do. How she moved this week, that shit was like, it was beautiful. So Q went up for sure. And I think who went down for me? I was gonna say you know what? Fuck it. Dot. Fuck Team Dot, bro. God, what is fucking wrong with Dot? I just want to like strangle him. Like, oh man, he in the worst position. I don't care what y'all say. Y'all can't convince me. Dot is done. He in a bad position. He don't know what the fuck going on. Just, it's sad. So yeah, Team Dot is done. I am thinking that Dot is in the hot spot.
It's weird because sometimes you guys have Dot up, and I'm like, I don't know if Dot should be up this week. But this week, I actually feel like this was an up week for Dot in a way. But we'll get to that.
Like, look at the dynamic, right? Like, for me, what I've noticed just this week, or maybe it's because it just started this week, but I feel like the original Team Dunn is like, what it looks like they're doing is swinging back and forth between Rona and cleaners to pick off each side. And so I feel like the original members of Dunn, all of them, which is Dot, Alex, and Elizabeth, are all in an okay spot. I'm just like, when you look at the back and forth, like, that's what they're doing. They're just swinging back and forth to pick off the other two sides, which is really brilliant by the three Dunn players.
Did you not
All
hear
the-
that Alex said about Dot and vice versa? You think that 3 is really solid? You think Team Dunn is really solid? Is that what you're telling me right now?
No,
I think in
they're
a
not
voting block
solid.
they are.
But as a voting block, what they're doing, swinging back and forth, picking off the other numbers, that's what they've been doing. They've been voting together to pick off one member of Rona and one cleaner.
Well, it's mostly been Alex and Elizabeth voting together.
Right.
Dot's kind of been out of it until now.
Yeah.
The reason I think Dot went up this week is because after this episode, it benefited him most out of the 3, in my opinion.
Well, he got
Because Patty going hurts Alex. I mean, Elizabeth, I guess, is still fine either way, but
no. Dot constructed that move against Patty perfectly for his game. That was a perfect play for his game. He needed to do that, but I think it's fucking stupid that Alex even let him talk him into that. But Alex also has an ulterior motive, so yeah, I think Alex gonna cut Dot neck in a very vicious way, and I can't wait to see it.
we will move on to the challenge. We touched upon it a little bit. Q getting the win that she needed. Aspen, anything else to add about this challenge since she was the main target?
Yeah, for sure. She needed to win this. She knew that this was her challenge, you know, like Q is a very, very smart woman. I don't know, I just got to give it up to her. I got much respect for her and how smart she is. And just, you know, yeah, shout out to her being a black chemist and all that. And so the number game, I would have fucking flopped that shit. I ain't gonna lie. It's not the game for me. I'm kind of dyslexic sometimes when I be smoking. So like, I would have fucked up. So all hail to her for pulling that shit out. That was nice. I thought Alex was gonna come a little closer, to be honest, and that might just be me stereotyping him, which I'm sorry, I apologize. But I thought he's gonna do a little better. So, yeah.
Got second, right?
Yeah.
Although he's 4,000 points away, but
Right.
yeah.
Right.
it was actually similar to season 1 between Rochelle and I don't remember if it was Vanka or Mike, but
Rochelle had 20-something thousand.
she had 12,000.
She blew us out of the water. It was me. I got second. Like,
Right. Own up to that shit, fan guy. Own up.
I like this game. I had never played it before like this show. And Q said she actually had, she had a strategy. She's like, play the corners. So like Q's brilliant. And so like games like this favor people who just like have a higher level of like book intelligence, like just that legit raw intelligence. And Q has that. And this kind of game, like, I think favors people like that. So it doesn't completely surprise me that she won. I guess I'm going to go on the stereotype train with Aspen. Thought maybe Alex would have done a little better because he seems to he seems to excel at stuff like this, which is why I picked him to win. I'm not completely surprised Q won though. And she did need it. That's my big surprise, was because you guys were all right. I was wrong last week. I didn't think Q was going to still be the target, but looking at the way it was, she was gone. She was gone if she didn't win this one. So yeah, props. Well done. And it's a great challenge. This is a fun game.
Days, any thoughts on the challenge?
No, I hate that game with a passion. I don't know how many times I've spent hours upon hours after playing it in our season, and I still couldn't get over like 2,000 points. Even trying the strategies that people have told me, and I still can't manage to figure it out. So I hate it. I hope to never see it again.
I think
What's
Jake
the
and
letters
Hassan
or the
are-
numbers?
This,
Damn,
was,
man.
this took place a little before the challenge as well, but did you think there could have been a possible thing between Dot, Jake, Q, and Patty?
Between Dot, Jake, Q, and Patty. Okay, so I don't know about that specific but one thing I'll say about this game dynamic that I do like as a viewer is that even though there are alliances, they all seem to be very loose alliances. Like no one seems, the only two tight people I would say that are left genuinely are like Jake and Hassan, and maybe Q and Dee. Other than that, no one's close. So all these alliances are so in flux, and you can't really tell who's going to be who's going to be voting with who week to week, other than you can assume that Q and Didi are probably voting together. Jake and Hassan are voting together, but with the mixture of Dot, Elizabeth, Alex, it's just, who knows? They're not solid at all. So no, I mean, I don't know. That didn't answer the question, but I mean, it's just so chaos. The answer to that is this pure chaos.
Yeah, here, I'll answer it for you. Fuck
Thank you.
no way that they could have worked together. Q wasn't falling for that shit Dot was talking about, and Dot wasn't even being that convincing to me. Like he like, y'all think we can? I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, I don't know. It's weird how he went about that, and I feel like he was being so fake. I felt it, I'm like, bro, I even feel you ain't being real right now. Like, dang, that, I don't know. It kind of threw me off. I wish that something could have came from it, but I don't think so. And sometimes I just don't know if Jake know what the fuck be going on. He just looked so confused. Like, I don't know if it's all there. Maybe one too many hits, being a kicker. I don't know. I'm not sure, but like, yeah, no, I don't. It's not happening.
Does Jake know what he's doing?
I think Jake's just along for the ride right now. Same with Hassan. They're kind of in a position where they have to go where the votes are, and fortunately for them, I think Alex and Dot knew that the three of Didi, Patty, and Q had to be broken up, and in order for that to happen, Jake and Hassan needed to vote with Alex and Dot, and that's the way they went. It just comes down who is the target and who has the numbers at this point. And I think Alex and Dot they're floating. Like Fan Guy said, they're going to float whichever way they can gather the numbers to get somebody out that's a target. So
I still say it's more so Alex and Elizabeth than Dot. Aspen, when Q won the challenge, she thought the move to make was either Dot or Hassan, but she didn't want to push for that to happen. Did you agree with that?
Hell yes. Don't be pushy. Don't bring no more attention your way. Stop trying to call the shots. You just called a shot. You just got something on the resume. Let the pen cool down a little bit. Put that shit down and just chill, Like, I think that was the perfect move because I get her wanting to go for Dot. I'm like, yes, let's go for Dot. And then I'm just like, well, you know what? No, nobody's going to be for that. So, like, don't stir the pot. Don't fuck it up. That was perfect move on her part.
Yeah, she has the biggest resume right now with taking out Meg. Although Patty may disagree with who actually did that. But definitely she has to, sit down and just kind of lay low for right now, because everybody who's left in the game can see that that's big on the resume, and you can't let her get to the end with that type. So she's got to lay low, let somebody else make the move. But Dot definitely has to go if you're Q at this point.
Any other thoughts on that?
I think it's all a matter of perspective. If you're Q, Dot has to go. If you're Dot, Q has to go. So it's all just where each person's at in the game. I think it's interesting to see what the cleaners are going to do. I'm kind of interested to see where Jake and Hassan even try to go. I mean, I think they can still rally with Dot, but I think at that point they're still on the downside of the four. And that's ultimately how I think it goes this week. I think maybe Jake, Hassan, and Dot vote as 3 against the other 4, as you pointed out, Nick, as Alex and Elizabeth kind of swing back and forth each week to kind of pick people off from each side. And it just seems like it's the cleaner's turn, or Dot.
That actually was my next question, Days. How do you think Hassan, Jake, and Dot adjusted to losing Meg this week?
I think they did great. I mean, it's weird watching Dot work with Alex for a common goal with getting somebody out, but they had to. I mean, how Jake managed to get off the radar and survive this round, because if Alex and Dot went with Q and Patty and Didi, Jake would be gone. So I mean, they're doing good. They've got to continue to lay low, but it would benefit them greatly to win some challenges. Hassan has one on his resume. Jake's going to have to get another one. Ultimately, if they don't start winning competitions, they're going to be gone in the next couple episodes. So,
Vanguy, do you think they did enough?
I think they're doing what they can do. I mean, let's be real. Meg was kind of the glue that held that whole unit together. She was also the social linchpin in a lot of ways that was their bridge to possibly bringing in other people. I mean, Dot's a great social player if he stops being greasy, as Patty keeps saying. Because I think people's perception of him, it's crazy. It's just a matter of perception. Some people think he's really charming, and then some people think they see through that charm. So I do think that Jake and Hassan are doing what they need to do. They're staying with Dot, but ultimately, I don't think they have that many plays left. I think they've kind of put themselves on cleaner island, and now they're reaping. They're reaping what they sowed. It's their redemption. They're reaping what they sowed in the near future.
Aspen.
I don't know. I kind of disagree about the Hassan part, and maybe I'm the only one that caught this, but when Hassan and Q was having a one-on-one, it seemed like Hassan was trying to flirt with Q, and so I'm like, like he just like blushing and like just can't help himself, and it just was so funny, and I'm like, is he trying to flirt right now? What is going on? So Q, if you're watching this, was he or was he not trying to flirt? Okay, answer the question. Comment. We need to know. But I thought maybe Hassan was trying to pull out some moves. I'm like, okay, player, I see you. I don't know. But I thought I kind of noticed that with Didi too. When he talked to Didi, he just was like being a blabbermouth a few like episodes back. And I thought maybe he would try to get something going with them. But I don't know if they having it. Q seemed like she was kind of curving that shit. So I don't know. Keep trying, Hassan. You never know.
I will say Hassan does talk more with Didi and Q in those chats. Go ahead, please.
See?
As far as Jake and Hassan go, unless one of those two are the targets this coming week, their votes are needed. There's 7 people, you need 4 votes. So if Dot and Alex are going to try to go after Q, they're going to need Jake and Hassan. If Q and Didi and Elizabeth try to go after Dot or Alex, they're going to need Jake or Hassan. So, like I said, unless they are the target and those other 5 team up in a block, they're in a good position. They, decide who goes home this week.
The reason I so much disagree with that is simply because the other side, okay, you got Q, who's like a strategic beast of a player. You got Elizabeth, who is a strategic beast of a player. You got Alex, who is a strategic beast of a player. If you think that these people don't know that those cleaner votes are united and that's a duo for sure and a probable trio with Dot, like they're all so smart and they're all so observant. So they're going to be like, the cleaners and Dot are a 3-person unit. We don't trust each other, but we can't let this 3-person unit go any further. And so I think because of the sheer intelligence, and everyone's smart. I'm not saying the other side isn't. I'm just saying you got some real deep thinkers on this one side. They're not going to let that shit fly. They're just not.
Yeah. Okay, I'm with Fanguy. Yeah, fuck that. I'm with Fanguy on this one. You are absolutely right. You're right. You're right.
I guess my next question is, did Dot target the right person, Aspen? Was Patty, if he was trying to weaken Q, why was he targeting Patty, who didn't really care if Patty goes?
Right. Who threw Q under the bus at Tribal like Q is strong? I'm like, Patty, what the fuck are you doing? Are you trying to make them vote for her next? Because she's safe, right? You don't see that immunity necklace. I think for his game though, yeah, it was the smartest thing to do. I think honestly, if anything, he kind of weakened Alex, if that makes sense. I mean, I think I don't know what made Alex want to sway so fast and just I don't know. I don't know. It's straight up strategy. Alex is playing this shit hard, man. I respect Alex game, but I think Dot kind of got to his head with the Patty shit. But it was a great play for Dot. You know, kudos to Dot. You did something right. You picked the right person to get off. I mean, it didn't really weaken Q, I don't feel like, because I feel like Patty would at any moment not vote with Q and switch. And I think Q kind of knew that.
I I was when I was watching the episode, I was convinced that the way to weaken Q was to get rid of Dee Dee. We all knew that at least you had to break up that threesome, and Dee Dee was closer to Q than Patty was. But after talking to Patty, he really seemed to think that Dot was after him. So maybe in the end, that was the correct move, was to get rid of Patty, because Patty would have turned around and come after Dot if he got the chance.
And guy Dot did put Alex in a corner, and nobody was listening to Alex. Alex was trying to push for Dee Dee, but Elizabeth doesn't see her as a threat, and I guess Dot didn't really. They thought Patty was a bigger threat too. So,
And based on what Patty,
how do you think all that was played?
I mean, based on what Patty said, Patty was targeting Dot, like to some degree. So, I mean, I do agree with Aspen. I think for Dot's game, it was good to go for Patty. But I don't understand why Alex went for that, because I think Patty was a clear ally for Alex. So I'm more confused. This is the first strategic error. I mean, Alex, I don't know, man. He's on another level. So who are we to analyze like his play? Because he just seems like on a whole nother level. But as an observer, this is the first thing I would say that clearly stands out as a mistake from Alex's gameplay, where I feel like he really did just kick his ally to the curb when he didn't need to. But I think that was Dot's magic. It was Dot's greasy social magic, or whatever you want to call it, that got his target out. And so I do think Dot went for the right person, though. I really do, for his game.
Regarding Alex days, Alex was trying to switch it on to Dot, but Patty didn't go for it. Patty was pushing for Elizabeth. Why? I don't really know. Why do you think that was, and why do you think he didn't go after Dot, or go after Dot?
I don't remember a lot of this conversation, so I'm gonna pass on that one. I don't have a lot of insight on it.
Bad guy or Aspen?
I think it was more of just like he just wanted to get rid of the weaker players, which I'm like, what? Why would you want to do that? I would have took Elizabeth straight to the end, knowing she couldn't do one single challenge, and I would have been happy. I would have wrote that out. And so I don't understand that logic from Patty. That part kind of was like, where is this coming from? Yeah, why don't you just switch it over to fucking Dot, who is coming for you, and get him out? Would that have worked? I don't know, but it would have been not his ass, so maybe.
It would have been the more favorable move. I don't think Patty knew. Like, I think Patty didn't know who to trust, who not to trust. He felt like everybody was an enemy. And I think when you get to that point, you just like kind of fuck it, like just like whatever. And so I genuinely think that's what happened here, was that Patty just didn't think it out enough, because he had insinuated that he knew Dot was a target, yet for whatever reason he wanted it. It made no sense. It made absolutely no sense.
So I guess we'll just keep talking about Alex for now. He tells a lot of lies in this episode. I think he shouldn't have lied as much to Patty. I agree. I think if he was gonna vote for Patty, just tell him he's gonna vote for Patty. But Fanguy, what did you think of Alex's lies in this episode?
No, it's all going to come down to whether people start talking and they come back to him. Like, right? Like, I'll say anyone watching this episode who plays with Alex in the future, if that ever happens, is going to be like, I huh? Like, because he literally, you watch him go from person to person, lie to lie. He's smart, and he's trying to connect them all and make them all play out, he's not being super careless about it, but everybody talks. I've said it 100 times in these things, in these games, everybody talks. So I think he's shrewd, man. He's shrewd, but he's definitely playing too hard. Like like you have to trust some people, and it just feels like he's closing the possibility to having a true allegiance to anybody completely off because he's just throwing anyone and everyone under the bus at every turn.
Now, Aspen, I know you had Dot down in this episode, but Dot did call Alex a liar. He knows Alex is a liar. The title was Liar's Lie. So, what do you think about Alex's lies in this episode? Because there was a lot of them.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. I guess to a certain extent, I kind of feel like, man, he had to do what he had to do, you know. But then I don't know. I thought it was interesting that him and Dot are like super enemies, but then wanting to work together. So I thought that was weird. I don't know. Yeah, that shit gonna come back and bite Alex in the ass. And yeah, apparently Didi already is like trying to get Alex out, which I'm like, Didi, I don't even think she would pull a move if it fell in her lap. But I mean, I don't know. I would be interested to see who
She's a goat.
really make the move on Alex. Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's going to start comparing notes at some point, and if they don't, Dot is going to plant those seeds about Alex telling all the lies. Alex has to lay low or win the challenge this next episode. I mean, you have to tell lies in order to get to the end. Like, there's no way to just be 100% honest all the way through a game. But I do think he went a little overboard this time. Maybe get rid of that lying ball that he has. He's gotta cool it down just a little bit. Yeah, like Fan Guy said, he is playing a little too hard right now.
Lastly, Patty tries to send a secret code to Alex. I thought it was positive this whole time, but according to Patty, it was to say that he was on to Alex. So, Fan Guy.
And literally, if Alex did understand, that's the worst thing you could do. You're threatening him at Tribal. Like, come on, Patty. You're threatening him at Tribal. I'm on to you at Tribal. Bro, wait till after Tribal. Wait till you're still around. Like, don't create more of a target on yourself than you already think you are. That was classic Patty, though. I mean, that was my favorite moment for sure of the episode, was hearing that message coming through. I was like, was that what I thought? Like, I mean, I didn't understand it, but is it? And then it did it. Oh, my God. And then Patty says something like, oh, I'm learning Japanese or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
Problem was, Aspen, the message was in Mandarin and Alex speaks more Cantonese. But what do you think of that from Patty?
I think it was the stupidest shit you ever could have done. It was it just was a bad call, bro. Like, first of all, Alex he didn't understand it. And I thought, what I'm thinking is, all right, Patty trying to send him a message like, all right, is the vote still the same? We still gonna vote together.
I thought he was trying to tell him to vote for Jake.
So I'm like, I don't know. I was like hella confused. And then he could tell he fucking did not nail it. And then and then it happens again. And I'm like, no. Yeah. It was pretty bad. It kind of hurt watching it, honestly. I'm like, damn, Patty. And man, I just it just was so funny that he's like, yeah, man, I've been to Japan and I speak Japanese and 25 other different languages, but not the one language you said you speak. But I don't know, that just was like, oh, fucking Patty, man. Wow.
Dave's thoughts on Patty's last hurrah and getting voted out.
I loved it. It's Patty. That's why we love him. And per his calculations, he was pretty sure that he was going to be voted out anyways. So what better way to get invited back to another season than being yourself, Patty? So I thought it was great. It was hilarious. And I definitely hope to see him back.
Lastly, Dot uses one of his powers a day late and a dollar short days. Your thoughts on that?
I don't know what Dot's doing. I mean, he had to have assumed that the votes were in his favor. I mean, I guess it was just to make sure. I don't know. Maybe it was just to stick it to Q. Who knows? It didn't need to be played. Like you said, it should have been played a week before. But it is what it is at this point.
Aspen, do you think this might just cause more problems with Alex? Because it kind of comes off like he doesn't trust Alex, which he doesn't.
That's exactly what it's gonna do. That's you showing your alliance that you don't take their word and that you need to put this out there. So my question to you, Nick, is did he or did he not have to say it out loud? Like, I'm using my advantage. So why he had to say it out loud?
Yeah, there's a secret switch of vote and a non-secret switch of vote, right?
Yeah, he had to steal a vote, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I thought it was gonna be the same thing as Jake, like just being secretive about like, all right, I just want to switch their vote. Well, I guess that makes more sense because I'm like, you fucking idiot. Why would you blow that up, man? Yeah, that was hard to watch, bro. Like, and he didn't need it. It's like cringy almost. You know, in Survivor when somebody play a fucking idol and don't get no fucking votes. It's that part.
Bad Guy knows a little something about that. But what are your thoughts on this play, Bad Guy?
Yeah, I do know. I know a lot about that. I had definitely played an idol on our season when I didn't get any votes. I hated the power play for Dot, like for sure. Like first of all, Dot, you're not even the one getting voted out. Like honestly, and you know it. So I get it if you felt like you were the one getting the votes. So like even if you felt like it was gonna be a 4-3, but you were gonna be getting the 3 votes, okay. Even if maybe you don't trust one of your people enough then. But if it's like Jake or whoever getting the votes, man, just it's getting low in the game. Powers are getting really important at this point. Jake's not like I get Jake might be his only ally because Dot doesn't know who to trust. Dot seems very lost. That's just how I perceive Dot. Dot's very lost. It was evident in the fact he played this power. It was he's just out of his depth. The others are just on a different level of gameplay than Dot is. Dot's relying heavily on his social game being likable, and these other people that are remaining in the game, a lot of them are out for blood. So Dot's just out of his depth, and his playing of the power just shows that he didn't really understand at all what was going on, and he didn't understand.
The paranoia is starting to get to him a bit,
and the fact he didn't play the power last week when it would have been optimal to keep your numero uno ally in the game.
Optimal.
Yeah, use it last week to save Meg. Then you have a chance that she decides to take you to the end on her power train that plows through to the end when you had a chance to. So, yeah.
I don't know if you all watched Cam DeRosa Dazed, but the jury's off to a slightly bitter start. Is that worrisome?
For me, yes, because I think that even if you're a scumbag, you should still be able to win the game. I hate bitter juries in both Survivor and Big Brother. Not a fan of them. So I hate to see that already. That's why I asked Patty, would he vote for scumbag in the end? I hope it doesn't turn out that way, but right now it's looking like it's going to be bitter.
Fan Guy Aspen, any thoughts on Cam DeRosa?
I didn't think Meg sounded bitter. I'll say that. I didn't think Meg sounded too bitter. She actually seemed like she was going to be open to voting for whoever she thought played the best game.
Well, I mean, Patty for the most part.
Yeah, Patty definitely seemed he was bitter, which is surprising because I guess
to be fair, this was like a day after Patty was voted out.
Okay, yeah, and you do I guess when you have more time to process it when it's all said and done. So he was still bitter because my big takeaway, which I asked him in that interview, was it seemed like he got backstabbed by both Dot and Alex, but he seemed bitter when he was talking to Meg, mostly towards Dot, which I thought was just peculiar because Alex had stabbed him in the back just the same. And in fact, he had felt closer to Alex. So it feels like, if you feel closer to someone and they're the one who stabs you in the back, you take it more personally than if it's someone you were expecting it to come from. So that was my peculiarity, was that.
I will say, though, I don't feel like Alex actually stabbed him in the back. It was just the lack of communication to then vote for him than do that. That might hurt. Aspen.
Which is kind of backstabbing, but I mean, potato or whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm saying Alex tried to like talk to Patty about it and try and put a target on Dot, and it just didn't work
Yeah,
out.
he just should have been straight up and been like, "Look, bro, I'm probably voting for you." You know, I mean, I don't know. I know all about jury control. I mean, once you make it to the merge, that's pretty much all that's on my mind is I need to secure my vote with these jury people. It's a tough spot though, because you want to make moves, but you don't want people to be salty about the moves that you make, Alex and Patty. And so it's kind of a weird situation. And like Dave said, man, I hope we don't have people just being bitter and upset and just respect the gameplay, man. It's the game. And at the end of the day, vote for who played the better game. That's why I won over Fanguy.
Aspen did make a good point though, because I hate the whole jury management thing, but I was very adamant about telling folks I was voting them out in our season. And like when I got in touch with Aspen being like, hey, I voted you out, and kind of knowing that she could come back. But so I guess there is an aspect to jury management there, but I think you should still be able to be a scumbag and snake and still win the game.
That's 100% jury management for the record, Days. When you're like telling people you're voting them out, that's 100% jury management. Don't get that shit twisted. Like that's literally the ultimate form of jury management. Look, you're going, but at least I'm being honest about it. Everyone else is lying to you, telling you it's someone else. But I like to think I'm not an emotional voter, and I would absolutely lean towards voting for someone who kept it real with me and told me I was getting voted out than if everyone else lied.
Yeah, we'll say Q, even though her social game can be trash at times, as she will say herself. She was the only one thinking about jury in this point, to not have blood on her hands against Patty. Well, lastly, we will go through these final people, see what you think they need to do to survive this next episode. We'll start with Jake and we'll start with Dazed.
I'm losing faith in Jake. Oh, shut up, Aspen. He needs to win another competition. I don't think he'll be going this next episode, but he's got to get himself in a position of power. And the way to do that is to be immune from being voted out, just like Q did when she won that challenge. She used that to her advantage. I mean, solidly. So I think Jake needs to do the same thing.
Aspen, what does your boy Jake need to do?
Yeah, like they said, about time he's seeing it. He's seeing the light. He's not as beautiful as you think he is. He just a D1 athlete. That's it. Okay. Like, I mean, honestly, what's weird is he kind of is getting the heat off of him a little bit. So like, I mean, if he just lay low, he probably could, like Dave said, he'll make it another episode. I mean, he ain't targeted like that. But also, Jake hadn't really made no moves. I mean, what is on Jake's resume to be like, look, these the plays I made? What has he done? So, I mean, he's saying if he get to the end, yeah, he probably will have Meg's vote, but that will probably be it because he hadn't made no moves. I mean, if he want to win, he need to make a move. Like, get yourself in the right position to be able to make a power play, period.
Fanguy.
He needs to find a crack in what I'm going to call affectionately call the Genius Alliance. He needs to find a crack over there. Otherwise, they're just going to get picked off. So he needs to, stay with Hassan, stay with Dot, and find somebody over there and pitch exactly what Aspen just said. Like, pitch that to him. Yo, I don't have much of a resume. I'm the one you want to take. You don't want to take Q. You don't want to take Elizabeth. You don't want to take hyper likable Dee. You don't want to take savagely lying, sneaky Alex. These are all people who have bigger resumes than you. So if I'm Jake, I'm going to someone on that side who's strategic, pick one of the strategic minds and say, hey, look, I'm the person you want to bring because I'm the one you can beat in the final. Even if that puts the target on Hassan for this week or Dot, because they're going to kind of fall on his side of the numbers the way I see the board, then now Jake has an ally on the other side. And maybe he can, they'll figure out a way to make him part of their strategic numbers, because Jake's just kind of been a follower. So he needs to keep being a follower. He needs to find a new leader. That's what he needs to do. He needs to find a new leader.
Find a new Meg. Find a new Mama Meg.
Aspen, what does Alex need to do to survive this episode?
Honestly, probably some damn damage control. I mean, I guess I don't know if he is going to. Damn, I don't know. Alex he throwing me for a loop right now. Like he all over the place. I can't tell where he at. 1 minute he voting with Dot, the next second he like fuck Dot. I'm about to get him out. And so I'm like, what are you doing? Like where even are you? Where you stand? So I thought him and Q was cool, but apparently they ain't cool. He going at the Q like Alex all over the damn place. He need to sit down somewhere and hope that he don't be the next one out, because if he don't win, he actually might be.
Okay.
I think his brain goes too fast for his own good sometimes. I think he's analyzing all the different scenarios. He's seeing a lot of the different possibilities, and he's trying to play them all. And I don't think he's trying to be this savage liar, sneaky person. I think he's just like, oh, I might need this person, so let me tell them what they want to hear. Oh, I need this person, so let me tell them what they want to hear. It's kind of how I play, so I can respect it. Like, I get it. Like, you just tell people what they want to hear, and it's a good way to stay safe. So I actually think Alex is in a pretty good spot. I think the only person really targeting him is Dot, and so Alex maybe needs to pull the trigger on getting Dot out ASAP, because Dot seems to be the only person who's actively going after Alex.
Dazed.
I don't think he needs to vocalize any target this round. I think with the challenge that is coming up, he needs to avoid the drama that is sure to come from it. Other than that, just lay low, stop lying so much. Like Fan Guy said, tell everybody what they want to hear. Side note, I made a note of that, Fan Guy, for next time I play with you.
Right.
Yeah, just avoid what is sure to come in this next episode, which is potential drama.
Okay, what does Elizabeth need to do?
She needs to keep doing what she's doing, because I think she's been playing really, really well. And part of the charm of her game for me is the fact that she's doing it really under the radar. She's even more under the radar than Alex. She's not having to lie to everybody. She's just kind of sitting there taking it all in, listening to people, listening to what they're putting out into the universe. She's just kind of taking it all in, and being very crafty about it. Because she's not good at challenges, she really needs this. And she doesn't have anybody who's really has her back. Like, let's be real. No one's like, I really have Elizabeth's back. Maybe Alex, but
Q
and maybe Dot. But no one really is going to bat for Elizabeth. So she just needs to keep flying under the radar, being very, very smart, and kind of going with the targets. People are going to put targets out there, and she just kind of needs to ride that wave.
Aspen.
Oh, Q definitely had Elizabeth's back. She told Elizabeth what was going on and shit, which I don't know what's bonded them, but I guess they have kind of voted the same way, and they kind of, assisted each other in their need to get out Meg. So I feel like Q got Elizabeth back, and I feel like, I do feel like she's in a good place though. Elizabeth is playing a very good game, and yeah, she has a very subtle resume, but I feel like she in a position to make moves because people ain't really looking at her as much of a threat. Except Jake. Jake is kind of coming for Elizabeth.
Jake's been coming for her, but he never votes for her. Dazed.
Yeah.
So I almost put Elizabeth up, but I decided to just leave her, neutral, same as she was last week. But speaking of last week, I'm going to say the same thing I said then, which is she needs to vote with the majority. She needs to work on her relationships, and she needs to get a comp win for her resume.
Dazed, what about Hassan?
Who?
Right.
What's up?
I mean, he's got a comp win now, so that's something. The preview makes me believe that he's kind of thinking about some strategy, but he's still on the list of GOATs for me, him and Didi. So I don't think he can win.
Fan guy.
I got Hassan's new nickname. It's Tom Brady. We're going to call Hassan Tom Brady because there are a lot of GOATs, but he is the ultimate GOAT. So Hassan, to get to the final, Hassan literally just needs to, I don't know if he's got it in him just to tell somebody, hey, I'm the ultimate GOAT. Kind of exactly what I said to Jake, but a much more convincing case because Hassan is, in fact, even more so than Jake, the ultimate GOAT. So if Hassan just needs to convince somebody, hey, I'm just here for the ride. There's no way I'm going to win this. Just take me to the final. That's Hassan's path. And that's all he needs to do is make one person on the other side realize that.
It's been
Honestly, Dave said it best. Who? Like he ain't even here, you know? Like, I thought it was so funny. I went back and watched Meg's interview, and she's like, yeah, I feel like when Hassan's talking to me, he don't even be looking at me. He's like watching TV. And I'm like, damn, you right. It is like he watching TV or something. Like, he's so unfocused. He just don't be here mentally, it seemed like, damn it, Hassan. Like, wake up, you know? I don't know. Like, man, you are on the ultimate GOAT ride. You can just get drug all the way to the end. And I don't know, it's kind of sad. I hope he don't. Somebody just need to cut his ass, honestly.
I will say though, you guys call him a GOAT, and he's staying. He thinks he already has 2 votes in jury with Meg and Rayleigh, and I think he has Rayleigh. Anyway, we'll move on to Q, Aspen.
I concur. I think he's got Rayleigh. I'm with you, Nick.
Oh man, that was perfect. That was perfect. No, moving on.
What does Q need to do, Aspen, in this next episode?
Team Q, Team Q. I'm Team Q all the way. All Q need to do is get another win, because that'll be perfect, and just sit back for the ride. You know, one more vote. Yeah, I think Q in a good spot right now. Honestly, it's as best of a spot as she can be. So I kind of am rooting for Q. I was very surprised by the win this week, and very surprised by like how she played things. And I like when Q is like thinking of some shit, she'll be like sitting there with her hands like this, like just ready to stir some shit
That's
up.
smart.
Yeah. I feel like she gonna fuck some shit up before she leave, and I like it. So I'm down. Just keep doing what you're doing, Q.
Days, if Q is still a big target, it's kind of a hard challenge for her to win. So what does she need to do this week?
Yeah, this is probably the worst competition that could be happening for her right now. I don't see her winning it. And if she does win it, I think there'll be some fallout because of the answers. What she has to do, though, is keep winning. I think if she does win, she has to target Dot. I think, like Fan Guy said earlier, my mind's kind of changed on this. Jake, Hassan, and Dot could be a possible 3-person voting block. Jake is not the biggest target out of those 3. It should be Dot. So if she does happen to win this challenge, or if she happens to not be the target for this round, she's got to put that focus on Dot to get him out.
Okay.
I just think Q, because she's so smart and strategic and savage, people forget that her social game is also really strong. Like, and she has shown that even when her conversations with Meg. Like, she can show that to your face, even as a mortal enemy, she can get along and be pretty smooth. So I think Q needs to sit back, rely as much as she can on just that smooth social side to her game. See, and then pick up the first time. And I have a feeling this is what she'll probably do. Pick up the first target that somebody else throws out there. Like, somebody's going to throw somebody's name out there. And she needs to be the one to not necessarily throw it out there, but just listen to it and play that smooth social game. Be like, you know what? Not gonna be me this week. Yeah, it's Hassan, it's Jake, it's Dot. As long as she doesn't leave that voting block together, then I think any of the, I think she'll just I think it's her social game that she needs to rely on.
I don't think Dee Dee wants to hear from Dazed or Aspen, but Fan Guy, what does Dee Dee need to do in this next episode to survive?
So I think this challenge is actually custom made for Dee Dee that's coming up, because I do think Dee Dee is the most liked person in the house in a lot of ways socially. So actually, I think Dee Dee, because she hasn't ruffled a ton of feathers, actually has a good chance at winning this comp. Dee Dee needs to solidify her relationship with Q. Is the most important thing I think Dee Dee needs to do, is just make sure that she's on the same page as Q, because Q is going to have the information if Dee Dee is ever in trouble. And so I think the most important thing for Dee Dee's game as a whole is to solidify her number one alliance with Q.
Aspen.
Yeah. So I just learned that Dee Dee does not like me or Dave. So I think that's pretty funny, but it's nothing personal, D. It's just that you are a goat, and I know that you don't really understand the term when we refer to you as a goat, but it just is like you a goat, and you just gonna get drug along, Like I don't know how to explain it better. Maybe like a sheep, like. Yeah, I don't know. I just know animal terms to describe it. So
not better.
So yeah, I mean, honestly, I want to root for Dee Dee, but like make a move, like take Alex out. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say, if you take Alex out and you like, you know what, I'm about to get Alex out, then you might actually be a little resume worthy, because she is likable. She's a cool girl. She nice, and yeah, and in the real world, we probably would get along, honestly. And it's nothing personal, but in this game, it's like she playing Big Brother, but she don't know that she on Survivor. It's like she never watched it. Or matter of fact, it's like she playing like The Circle. I don't know if y'all ever seen that show.
She's still playing Isolation is what she's doing.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I rooted for her in Online Isolation, and I picked her as a dark horse to win, and sure enough, she did. But this is not Isolation. This is Survivor. And yes, there's been players that have just been so that they've won in the end, but there are some really good strategic minds in this game, and I hope that is going to decide what wins this game. And Dee Dee doesn't have anything on her resume. Even Hassan at least has a win. So, she's an even bigger goat than he is. She's got to win a competition. She's got to make a move and claim it as her own, not just vote with the pack, but actually plant the seeds and get people to vote her way. That's how she gets to the end, and I don't see it happening. Sorry, Dee Dee.
Well, if Mike was here, he would say that she is not a goat because she is so likable.
No, I agree. I can't believe I'd agree with Mike. But look, you look at Survivor. It's outwit, outplay, outlast. And the parameters of this game are very, very similar. The social aspect of this game is a ton if you sit in the finals next to someone who's unlikable or for whatever reason has burned enough of the jury where they're going to be bitter. Like if you're sitting with someone and they've burned more than half of that jury, you could win. Doesn't matter who you are.
She's got the outlast part. She's got one of the three.
Right. But like who could she sit up against that you could say, oh, I'm gonna vote for Dee Dee over anybody else? Who?
I don't think it would be this way, but you could make an argument that if she was in next to Q, and let's say all the cleaners and all the cleaners are bitter against Q. I'm not saying this is gonna happen, but I'm saying who else? That's her best scenario, is because Q's ruffled the most feathers. Her best scenario is to sit in the finals with whoever has ruffled the most feathers. And so far, in my perception, that's Q.
I mean, Meg.
I don't think she has a good chance against Q. Let's not get that twisted. I don't think she would have a good chance against Q, but I think it would be her best chance. Or Hassan. She would win over Hassan. Therefore, she's not the ultimate GOAT. She beats Hassan in the final.
Is there fire at the end of this? Like, could she choose to go in and make fire just to get that last win?
There's no fire now.
Man.
Lastly, is Dot Aspen. What does Dot need to do to raise on your list and survive the week?
Man, I'm trying. I'm trying to find something good, Dot. I'm trying, bro. I was in there. I was with you from the beginning, bro. You know, like I was there, but like, bruh, oh man, I gotta pull a miracle out his asshole is what he gotta do. Like, yeah, Dot gotta pull. He gotta pull out a win. He gotta learn how to use an advantage. I mean, the list goes on and on. He needs to do damage control. He need to stop being so fucking shady. He told lies too, like Alex. He just is shady. So, you know, I feel like I don't know. I don't know what he could do. At this point, Dot is pretty much a sitting fucking duck, and somebody is about to pull that shit from under him.
He might have fucked up with one advantage, but he still has one. So what does he need to do?
Well, misusing that advantage kind of knocked him down for me a bit, but he's still kind of a snake. And if you're going to play the snake game, you got to start striking at some people. And like I said, what he needed to do against Meg was to turn on Meg, which he didn't do. I think he needs to have another one of those moments where he can just slap somebody and go against them. And, you know, play into the villain role now. Everybody's kind of starting to think that you're shady and greasy. Just lean into it and be that individual, be that type of player, and you know maybe he wins with it.
Wait, so who do you think he should? Who would? You're getting me too excited, man. Who should he go after? Alex?
Everybody, tell them you're gonna be on their side and then vote against them.
Oh, okay.
Dang it.
Similar to what he's doing, just not as ruthless. I mean, he's kind of just telling everyone he's on their side and just don't vote for me. Which, you know, I think Dot, I don't think Dot's as vicious as maybe he's getting painted out by my cohorts here. I think Dot is out of his depth in this game. I think Dot is learning on the fly as this game progresses. I don't think he doesn't strike me as much of a like he hasn't watched as many reality shows, so he's not coming into this with like a super strict strategy sort of thing. So I think Dot's having to learn a lot of this on the fly and rely on his social skills. A lot of his lying, I don't think it's as calculated as maybe Alex's is. I think it is just in kind of a more like, I don't know any, like, I don't think Dot really knows what he's doing. I think Dot is completely lost. And so I think Dot needs to almost just find somebody that's going to keep it real with him and keep it real with somebody else, and at least just try to build an actual real alliance and get a friendship. Because I mean, how good is, how long is his power good till?
Final 5, so 2 more rounds.
I think he's got to play it this week or next week then and pick the right one. But ultimately, I don't like his chances. I don't love his chances. Simply because I just feel like he's just kind of out of his depth in this group. There's just a couple of killers in here, and I think they're going to kind of see through what he's trying to do. And
I will still say though, I feel like Dot did well up until playing the advantage at the wrong round this time. He had a good round. He bounced back from Meg going, and he grabbed a little bit of power for himself this week. He just has to hang on to it. Lastly, any predictions? You know what the challenge is, so
I've been saying that she's going week after week, but I truly believe this is the week that Q might go if she doesn't win. I think Alex, Dot, Jake, and Hassan, at least those 4 vote with one another, and if they don't go after Q, they've got to take out her partner Dee. I have a bad feeling about this competition. I know it's going to get dirty, and it's possible that Q takes the brunt of that. So
Fanga.
This is the competition where you got to like reveal unpleasant truths about each other, right? Yeah, this one's brutal. This is just a brutal competition. It's a perfect timing for this because you got so many personalities in here that are kind of well liked. So I think a lot of them having to kind of get some outward mud on their hands and kind of get dirty in the open rather than behind closed doors will be interesting to see, particularly with regards to Dot and Alex, the two who have been people pleasers. Well, now you've got to start getting some mud on your hands. So I think this challenge is particularly dangerous for those two, for not necessarily whether they win it or not, but because they're going to have to show some dirtiness, and they've been doing everything to avoid that. So I think it's bad for them. I think this competition favors Didi. I said it earlier because she just seems to be like the most under the radar / likable. So I don't think people are going to have that much bad to say about her. And her intuition on things seems to be pretty on point, as we saw in Isolation. She just seems to have a pretty good innate sort of read on things. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this competition a lot. I can't wait to see what happens. And my prediction for the week is, I said it earlier, I think the voting block of Didi, Q, Alex, and Elizabeth are going to pick off one of the cleaners or Dot.
Aspen.
Okay. Yeah, I it's funny because this challenge, I feel like I'm a more likable person too. I don't know why, but I feel like people genuinely seem to like me, and so I feel that Didi might have that working for her this round. So I could see her winning, like she is a likable person. She nice, she cool. And she just remind me of me in that manner, in that aspect of playing the game. So I could see Didi winning. But I don't think Q gonna go home. If Didi wins, Didi and Q will, like Fan Guy said, vote with Alex and Elizabeth to take out one of the cleaners, probably Jake or Dot, one of those. And yeah, I'm hoping it's Jake or Dot. I don't care. I'll be satisfied with either one of them, both of them. Yeah, I think that's what I think will happen.
I'm gonna go with a Jake win.
Yeah.
Just random.
Any
I mean, this
prediction?
competition's based it's based on your read of the house, like who people find the most this and that. So it seems like whoever's has their finger on the game pulse the best should do the best in this challenge. And I'm going to change it. I think Q is going to win this challenge because I think Q has her finger on the pulse of the game the best. I think she's going to make the most calculated decision as to the majority of who said what. Her or Alex. I think one of those two are going to win this one.
Ooh, I want to see. So in the preview where Didi was talking about, she was talking about another female player, kind of dissing them, saying they. Nick, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but I don't remember what
she
she
said
said exactly.
So I'm assuming that has to be Elizabeth, maybe. So there could be some interesting dynamics there.
I will say I got extra messy for this challenge. For the first 10 rounds, you usually X people out and you get 3 or out. But for the first 10 rounds, you could circle someone and give them more circles to keep them in the game. So you could have more questions answered and see more.
That's an interesting twist.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I think the Elizabeth Didi Q triangle is a very interesting one to analyze. I think Q's at the top of that. And I think in a lot of ways, Didi and Elizabeth are going to be targeting each other to be Q's number one. And so I think that is going to be an interesting dynamic to play out in the next few weeks.
Any final predictions on who might hate who after this challenge?
Everyone.
Yeah. Hard.
No.
Yeah, this challenge sucks.
It does.
This challenge sucks because even like I don't know if it's all unpleasant shit, but even when it's nice shit in there too, it's like, oh wait, they didn't say that about me. They felt nicer about this person than they did about me. So even then, it's like there's 100 ways people could take stuff personal. Even when
during your season, Fan Guy, you got most likely to win, which just paints a target on someone's back.
Yeah. When did they answer these questions? Like the week before? I would
say either the day or 2 days before.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that can paint targets on your back. There's a lot of things that it could just make you feel good or bad. like
Strong. You got to be strong to take that shit, you know, because it ain't for the weak-minded. You know, it's a couple people. Ain't gonna name no names, but some people feelings gonna be hurt. Some people gonna have a hard time sleeping that night. So
I think the people who feel like they're super liked and maybe get some stuff to come out that dictates that they aren't super liked, it might make them do a lot of thinking about life, as weird as that sounds. Because
well, the questions of who thinks they're currently running the game, that's an interesting question. Who's told the most lies, that's a good question. So
who do you want to see win? Who do you think's gonna win? Like come on, like it takes me to like the Big Brother, the foreign versions, like the English Big Brother, where they just get psychologically ruthless with each other.
Well, any final thoughts?
I'm sad to see Patty go. Patty, Himalayan Patty, my dude. You were a pleasure to interview. You have been a pleasure on this show. Patty is just a man, and I was sad to see Patty go. I think no matter what happens from here on out, everything's gonna be a little darker without Patty.
oh yeah, for sure. R.I.P. to Patty.
Well, at least he's in the jury. But that's all for this week. Thank you guys as always. I will see you all next week.